The opinions and suggestions expressed on the following program are solely those of the participants and are not necessarily endorsed by KRMG, Cox Media Group Incorporated, or the program sponsors. This following program is sponsored by Causeway, LLC. Information in this broadcast is not intended as an investment, tax, or financial advice. Matthew Moore is not a licensed investment advisor and speaks solely from his experience and opinions. All information in this broadcast is for entertainment or educational purposes only. Matthew Moore, Causeway, LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa are not responsible for the success or failure of any person's investment decisions or purchases. Matthew Moore, Causeway, LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa makes no and expressly disclaims all representations, warranties, and guarantees with respect to this broadcast and its sponsors. Investing in any market is inherently risky and can be financially dangerous. Invest at your own risk. Gather knowledge in the world of cryptocurrency right now on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's news and talk. Welcome to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Matthew is locally based right here in Tulsa. Questions, comments, concerns? Call 918-460-5764 or send us an open mic using the KRMG app. Now, here's Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore.
And good Sunday evening to you. My name is Russell Mills, and this is indeed a Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Are you crypto curious by any chance? If so, you have come to the right place. This is where we go digging for digital gold with a guy who is an entrepreneur based right here in Tulsa. He's also author of a best-selling book, and he is our host. So let me introduce you to Matthew J. Moore. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Russell. Yes, it's always the time of my life when I'm here talking about this subject. In fact, I have my good friend, Eric Cooper. He's with us as well. Eric, why don't you say hello?
Want to say hello to everybody and happy Mother's Day because it's Mother's Day.
Good call.
That's right. That's right. In fact, I just had a wonderful lunch with my grandmother and mother. So don't forget about the grandmothers out there.
Yes.
And if your mom or your grandma is listening, I was talking about this earlier, and they're vaguely interested in cryptocurrency, it's never too late to start learning about this new and exciting technology.
Great idea. You don't know what to buy. Mom, some new dishcloths. Something like crypto would be great because guess what happens next year when we hit Mother's Day again? And she looks and she goes, oh, wow, it's not $100 now, it's $300. Buy some crypto. Learn today. You might dodge some mistakes, but it's going to be good.
There's our first Dogecoin joke of the evening.
Yes.
There will be several. Stay tuned.
Yes, we are definitely going to be talking about the Doge craze. In fact, Eric, I think when you start entering into a bull market cycle in cryptocurrency, you have these outrageous things that start to happen. Things so outrageous that you start asking yourselves, "Is this the top of the market?" But I will tell you, it's not my opinion that we are at the top. We are definitely not at the top. But Carol Baskin with Tiger King, why don't you tell people what she's doing?
So Big Cat Rescue, Carol Baskin, you know what, if you've seen Tiger King, you know that she is gimmicky at best. And so she now has the Big Cat coin. She's just launched it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because, you know what, just like a fashion or any type of fad, someone's going to create something. It's going to be silly. The pet rock. That was a fashion or a fad that went crazy, right? And now there's other stuff like eating Tide Pods. You know, those. So it doesn't, just because it's fashionable or a fad or something that's hitting the news waves doesn't mean it's a good idea.
You know, I can't tell if this is either going to help cryptocurrency or hurt cryptocurrency. One thing is for sure, Dogecoin and Carol Baskin are going to be definitely bringing some attention to the space.
Well, I guess the question is, is Dogecoin or Big Cat Coin, are these jokes? Or are they investments? Are they scams? I think some of that's going to have to get sorted out, right? And this is where it's really the wild, wild west because nobody can control these cryptocurrencies. But then there's you call them the on-ramps and the off-ramps. There's these exchanges of places where you can go buy and sell and trade it. And that's where I think there's some exposure, I think, to harm possibly.
Yeah, people are definitely going to learn the hard way like they did the last bull market cycle. You know, you had all these ICOs, these initial coin offerings popping out left and right. Now, essentially, people just had these white papers and people were throwing money into these projects that really didn't have any product or service or any use case. And they were all just speculating. So, I mean, it's no different than when we had the internet boom. You know, you had pets.com. You had all these people just putting .com by their name trying to earn a quick buck. But Dogecoin, you know, a lot of people are so excited about Dogecoin. Dogecoin, and look, I'm not going to be a hater on Dogecoin, but I'm going to tell the truth about Dogecoin.
How about being a realist about it?
Yeah.
So Saturday night, Elon Musk goes on national TV and made a joke about it? And it plummets
He
in
calls
value.
it a hustle. And
After he himself hustled it on Twitter, a week or two ago? I'm the Doge father, they're calling me.
In fact, Eric, I think you've got some of his tweets there. What were some of his tweets?
He says, makes a comment. I am the former CEO of Dogecoin. Dogecoin is the people's coin. And then my favorite one is Doge to the moon. And he calls it a hustle, and it dropped 35%.
After climbing, so he tweets out all this stuff.
Yeah.
The value goes up. And then he goes on Saturday Night Live, says, I was kind of just kidding about that. It's a big hustle. And it plummets.
Now, what's he doing in the background, Matt?
Well, it's my opinion that I think he's still buying up some more Bitcoin on the backside while he's getting everybody focused on Dogecoin. But people are making money with Dogecoin, no doubt. Like, there are people that have had large bags of Dogecoin for some time now, and they're the ones that are going to be dumping on all the new people that are buying in right now. And Dogecoin has this history of being a pump and dump cycle. Having these pump and dump cycles, and there's really, and here's the thing: like, if you can time the cycles, if you can time it, like, and make some money, sure, like, consider it a trading mechanism to make some extra fiat money. But at the end of the day, long-term investment, I really don't recommend it at all. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. But
it kind of depends. What's your goal, right? Is it a personal success over a couple of weeks? Or I made the joke about buying mom some crypto, buying her Bitcoin. It's going to grow. And next year at this time, it's going to be, if you bought your mother $100 worth of Bitcoin last year on Mother's Day, it's worth $500, maybe $600 at this point.
Well, let's just say this. There are cycles in the market.
Yeah.
So I think if somebody's going to make an investment, they should probably hit me up on my website, mattjmoore.com, and ask me about these cycles, because you definitely do want to time it if you're trying to get in and out of the cryptocurrency space at the right time.
And any investment is a risk.
Yes.
You are risking money. So it's also about risk aversion. How risky is it comparatively? So maybe that's something that if you're going to go into cryptocurrencies, start looking at that. Which ones are more volatile? Which ones have been more slow and steady to grow? And I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, the charts should be pretty vivid on some of these, right?
Yeah. And, and Elon Musk, he loves irony. He loves tongue in cheek, you know, and so he's a smart dude. And I think when people can't see through what he's talking about or what he's doing, they're just like, oh, I got to go buy some Dogecoin because Elon's tweeting about it. There was even kids on TikTok. They were like, hey, if we buy X amount of Dogecoin and we all buy it at this, this price, it's like we can all be millionaires by this time. And, and so, like, there's just a lot of hype. There's a lot of unnecessary unknowledgeable people that are trying to get others into the space. And, I get why they're doing it, but it's not the wisest investment. I mean, just the developers, there's one from IBM, there was one from Adobe. In 2013, they got together to essentially make fun of some of these cryptocurrencies that were trying to compete with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was dominating the market. And then you had all these cryptocurrency projects come out and they were trying to compete with Bitcoin. They were like, hey, we're better than Bitcoin because of reason XYZ. And then, hey, let's create this meme, this joke, and call it Dogecoin and use this cute little puppy dog. And, this is never underestimate. And I will say this, never underestimate the value of a network, social media, a joke, a meme. I mean, it spreads like wildfire, okay? And people love dogs. People love puppy dogs. And it's sad to say this, but people will donate money to animal causes before they'll ever donate money to children's causes. And I know this because my family's in the nonprofit space. And so it's just funny what that can do. But, when you look at the developers of the project, they're not working on it anymore. They don't hold the asset. They knew it was a joke. And so, could it continue to go up in price? Could it hit $1 this bull market cycle? Sure. It could. It definitely could. Do I know for a fact that it will? No, I don't. So it's mostly speculation, and it's also highly inflationary. Bitcoin is limited in supply. There's only going to ever be 21 million of them. And Dogecoin, you're talking about 10,000 new Dogecoins created every minute. And then, so that's about 5 billion a year, roughly. So, it's going to take more and more money to come into the space to sustain these prices. Because the supply of Dogecoin is going to continue to go up. So, I mean, did you know that, Eric?
Yeah. And forgive me if I'm being silly here. So what you're saying is, let's buy Dogecoin before it's 55 grand, right? Because it's going to the moon.
Oh gosh, what was it? I saw somebody post something. They were like, "Yeah, we got to buy Dogecoin before it's 50K." And listen, I'm not going to make fun of anybody, but I mean, let's just be real here. If Dogecoin were to get to $50,000 a coin, we're talking about a 5.5 quadrillion market capitalization.
So that quadrillion is what you said?
Yeah. So 20 times greater than the wealth of the planet.
Yeah, unlikely scenario, I would think, Matt. So I think this might be a good spot to take a time out. We're gonna pause for a second. We'll talk more about the Doge father and all that kind of stuff. And I'm still curious about whether you guys think Carol Baskin's thing is a thing. Because I'm not sure are we sure that's not like a comic book? That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
She did that. Okay, well, we'll chat about that. You're listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. My name is Russell Mills. Do appreciate you tuning in. We are live and local in the big city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is a Sunday evening. It is Mother's Day. So if you ever hear this in the future and it's not Mother's Day, well, then we're not live. There's a clue for you.
There you go.
I'd like to reintroduce our host, Matthew J. Moore, entrepreneur, best-selling author, and I'm going to call him the crypto guru.
Well, thank you so much, Russell. Sorry.
Hey, I
you
mangled
butchered
your
my
name
last
earlier.
name,
Yep.
earlier. So that's only fair.
We are. Our karma is level.
Yeah, there we go. We're good. Oh my gosh. So last segment, if you guys weren't listening, we were talking about the Dogecoin. A lot of people super interested in it, and I get messages constantly. Hey, Matt, what do you think about Dogecoin? Should I buy it? What should I do? Should I sell it? And so, hey, listen, people are making money. There absolutely are. But there's a difference between what is a long-term investment and what is a speculative hype. And what, does a cryptocurrency that you're investing in, does it have a use case? Does it have a purpose? Does it have a working product? Are there developers still working on the project? And we were talking about some of the new projects, or one of the new projects that we heard that was coming to the scene, or actually is on the scene. Carol Baskin from Tiger King was making her own cryptocurrency. Eric?
Yeah. So I'll say this is, obviously the reality of Carol Baskin is she's a massive cat advocate. The whole reason behind this is there's a dog cryptocurrency.
Dogecoin. Yeah.
Now there's a cat one. She wants to advocate for cats. So that's everything behind it. And her quote is, it's a way for our big cat rescue fans to join together to tip each other back and forth.
Yeah, we can't be discriminatory.
That's not the fun quote, though. The fun quote is, it's not a currency, it's a currency or something like that. Okay, but it's not that either. And what you were explaining to me was it's not even really a cryptocurrency. It is a token based on the Ethereum cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Okay, head swimming.
Okay, yeah. So, so we're going to get kind of technical here. But Ethereum, which we'll have a future show on to talk about Ethereum, but Ethereum is kind of like a decentralized operating system in which you can, yes, it does have its own token, ETH is what they call it. Mm-hmm. But the Ethereum blockchain allows for people to build their own tokens, which technically a token, what makes something a token versus a coin is a coin has its own blockchain. A token is built on top of another blockchain. So the tokenization of real world assets, or the tokenization of, like, let's just say what Carol's doing. She's creating a utility token. And again, the term cryptocurrency is so vague, so wide. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes something what it is, because cryptocurrency, the word, does not do justice for all these different digital assets, and especially when it comes to regulations. But so what Carol is essentially doing is creating a utility token to create membership perks. She says she's not going to necessarily, quote unquote, profit from it or use it as an investment. But, we'll see how this all unfolds, I should say.
I mean, she came about a couple $1 million when her husband, quote unquote, disappeared. So she's got some money to play with.
Oh, yeah, that may not be the only thing that disappears. So
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So anyways, yes. So what makes something what it is, cryptocurrency. What are these classifications? Because the term is so wide and so vague that I think we almost need to talk about some of these differences. There's really, I think, about 6 classifications of types of cryptocurrencies. And that comes down to ones that act like a currency and then ones that act like a money, which honestly, Eric, we had this conversation about what makes something money versus a currency. Remember that conversation?
It's the store of value portion.
Store value, scarcity, right?
Scarcity, obviously, Doge with the quintillion, octillion, whatever, the scarcity is not going to become an issue because they're going to continue to, I think they're making more. They just made more just now.
Yeah, every minute, 10,000 new Dogecoins.
Just now.
Yeah, so very, very inflationary. And you were talking about, when we were having conversations off air, we were talking about NFTs. We were talking about securities. There are all sorts of these digital assets. NFTs are what we'd classify as non-fungible tokens. It could be like a digital asset that it's the only thing. Like it's the only one. You could be digital art. It could be like remember. I guess I'm not going to use a game in the past, but recently there was a concert that took place in Fortnite. And I think it was like the largest concert that was ever attended, I guess, specifically, in this digital space, right? There's like millions of people. Imagine being able to watch the guitar player at this concert in this digital world. Maybe you have your VR headset in the future, and you're watching this, and you go up to that guitar player and you say, "Hey, I want to buy your guitar, and I want to put it on my digital wall, and I want to show all my digital friends that I have the only guitar that was at that concert that night, that day when we watched in the virtual reality space of this ecosystem or game." Like, right? Like that's kind of blows people's minds to think that we're actually going to start asserting value to digital assets, and they have to be unique. They have to be scarce. They have to be verified on the blockchain. Say
that again, Matt, because scarce, right? Because it's not like everybody who buys Mortal Kombat, everybody can pick a character in there and everybody gets a DVD. So if you're buying this guitar, there can't be thousands of them out there for every single person to buy. It's got to be limited, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's what NFTs allow for is just the uniqueness of these digital assets. And then you've got the utility tokens, which act kind of like a ticket or a coupon, which Carol is trying to do, where you get perks or access to some kind of digital ecosystem or some kind of membership. So utility tokens are unique, and one of my favorites is the basic attention token, which is developed by the same guy that developed the Firefox browser. He has his own browser called the Brave browser, and in order to use the Brave browser, you actually have to, you can participate by receiving these basic attention tokens when you look at ads. So when an advertiser jumps onto the browser and they want to advertise to the users of the browser, those advertising dollars, because it's decentralized, goes to the user or the browser every time they click on an ad. So it takes away that big, middleman that's taken away the dollars from people who are trying to market. So, or advertise, I should say. So it's kind of cool that you get rewarded with your attention or your time. Then you got things like, securities. It can be digital representation of company stock or debt issued on the blockchain. And then you have stable coins, which are used for trading or essentially transferring value overseas or to different people where you don't want to have to worry about the volatility. It's one for one, usually backed. So maybe
sounds more like money.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So it can be a form of money or a currency. I mean, you could create a stable coin backed by gold. You could create a stable coin backed by dollars. And so, the USDC is one, Tether is another one that are used for stable tokens or stable coins, I should say. Then you've got the future CBDCs, which is central bank digital currencies, which is basically a closed distributed ledger technology versus the open source DLT like Bitcoins. Basically, full nodes or mining, if any exists at all, are basically going to be controlled and operated by only authorized parties. Yep. The protocol, the algorithm are all determined and managed only by central banks or governments. And maybe you download a wallet and the Federal Reserve, maybe they say, hey, we're going to issue this new digital dollar. And if you download this wallet off our website, we'll give you $10,000 of the new digital dollar. And fun fact, I don't know if you guys realize this, but COVID, when they did the first relief bill, they had some language in there about creating a digital cryptocurrency version of the dollar, but then they struck it before it actually passed.
Imagine that.
That is interesting. And look, I don't think it's going to surprise anybody if the federal government takes a really hard look at issuing an official United States cryptocurrency, because they wouldn't be the first ones to do it. We're already behind the loop on that. You are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. We are live and local on 102.3 KRMG, news and weather, and then we'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. My name is Russell Mills. We are live and local in the big city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate your attention this evening as we take a deeper dive into the world of cryptocurrencies, tokens, and all related topics. Matthew J. Moore is our host. Welcome back, Matt. And man, trying to break this down for us.
Yeah, we're swimming deep.
It's some tough sledding.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
We're swimming deep. In fact, some of these topics we're covering, this is all stuff that people are going to be familiarized with as this space grows and comes to the surface, and people get more familiarized with it. And that's what I love doing. I love helping people wrap their mind around this technology, the concepts of money, why this stuff has value, where it's going. And if you want to listen to, some of the stuff that I've done in the past, or maybe you want to talk to me one-on-one, go to my website, mattjmoore.com. I'd be more than happy to help you, hold your hand through this process. I offer my services, and I even have a book called The Foundations for Liberty. We talk, and where the second half of it, I talk about the monetary system, which is an important element to understand when you're diving into cryptocurrency. And Eric, I think you had a question here recently, didn't you?
Yeah. So, we have looked at a lot of different cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of different deals. We've talked about a lot of topics already in 3 shows. This is our 4th show. And if you have, kind of want to start back at the beginning, you can go on krmg.com, and there's an on-demand area. You can go back and listen to the first. We started working with Charlie Spears, and we had such a good time with him on the first time he came on. We brought him a second time. He's with American Bit Power, and he is out there mining for Bitcoin. Yeah, and that's what his company does, right?
And Ethereum.
So we talked a little bit about the permissions in the CBD.
Yeah. The central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, so
CBDCs.
There's so many different kinds of cryptocurrencies out there, with storage being, online data storage, the tokens. And so, Matt, there's
a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And that's what we were covering in the last segment. You have stable coins, which are essentially backed one for one with some kind of asset. Could be $1, could be a piece of gold. You've got NFTs, which are like, scarce digital assets that are, they're the only one. Could be like digital art or some kind of in-game digital asset. There are, digital representations of company stock or debt issued on the blockchain, which could be classified as a security. Then you got ones that act like a currency. Dogecoin is technically a currency. I mean, it's highly inflationary, and there's really no real use case other than maybe tipping people. We were talking a lot about Dogecoin in the show, and so you kind of gotta learn a lot. There's a lot of learning curves in all this, and I'm here to help with that. And I think that part of it is coming up with a strategy. When you're looking at these and you're looking at these different assets and you're looking at the cycles that are involved in cryptocurrency, sometimes it's helpful to have kind of a mindset when you're like, okay, I want to get in the space. I understand it's speculative. Just like when the internet was being birthed, there's going to be fortunes that are made and there's going to be fortunes that are lost. And there's a lot of speculation right now. And the better you can do by having this mindset or having this, I guess, analysis when you're looking at a project, what's going to be successful, what's not going to be successful. And Eric, this is kind of what I do. When I'm looking at a project, I kind of go through this mindset of, does the project have the use case, like the creators of it? what's their plan? What's their purpose behind it? Does it make sense? Because sometimes it doesn't make sense. I mean, Carol Baskin, love her. She's, Tiger King, Carol Baskin. She's creating a utility token, and she's essentially offering membership perks, to this special ecosystem that she's creating with it's her reserve. Does she have a cat reserve?
Yeah, so she's got the tiger preservation, and she has a lot of people who volunteer for her. Let's just be honest. Is that where you really want to place your emphasis on financial gain?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not advising that, but I'm just bringing it up because A, we talked about it, but B, you got to realize that when you're putting money in this space, you got to know what you're buying. Dogecoin. It's the monetization of an actual meme, an actual joke. Like that's like, I don't know if there's ever been anything like that in history, but like a joke actually has some monetary value.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of.
It was based on tipping, right? Hey,
tipping on Reddit.
This will be funny. We'll tip people with Dogecoin.
Right.
And they made up this thing that did not exist, and now what's the market cap for it?
Oh, I think it was. I've got it here in my notes. I actually looked this morning. Oh man, I think it was like it was multiple billions.
Yeah, not billions.
And while you're looking that up, one of the biggest things.
$93 billion.
93.
Which I think
that was maybe Friday.
Yeah. Okay, not now.
It's now 60 something.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There's the big caveat, folks. There's the big warning flag. This stuff could go up and down really fast.
And we're talking about cryptocurrency, right? We decided to do this show because there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of different levels of people's kind of knowledge base. And, In-N-Out Burger is a big thing on the West Coast. And we here in Oklahoma didn't really know. It's been around since 1947. And now we're starting to get some in Texas. It's going to start creeping up. It's not new. It's a big deal. Bitcoin and other cryptos, they've been around for a long time. And so, Matt, our whole goal here is we're not financial advisors, but it's how can we help you understand? Because the why is what you're trying to tell me right now.
Yeah.
The why determines so much in this space.
Right. And that's my thing is the use case that they're proposing for the project, does it make sense?
Yeah.
And then if it does make sense, do they actually have a working product or service built already? And so that's a big indicator. Okay. Another indicator I look at is there anybody notable that's getting behind the project? And I'm not talking about just individuals. I'm talking about like companies. One of my favorite cryptocurrency projects is called Theta. That's a freebie, everybody. YouTube, Samsung, Sony. There are individuals and corporations that are involved into some capacity in this project that have a vested interest in seeing it succeed, and they have a working product. And so those are things that are important to consider. The other thing is there a community that's excited about it? Right. Yeah. Like Dogecoin, there's a community that's super excited about it, but nobody's really developing it. It doesn't really have a use case, other than maybe some tipping at best on the internet.
Yeah.
So again, you can kind of see my logic, how I'm going down this line, and then I ask myself, okay, where's the market capitalization? How long has it been around? And when you look at that, you want to be early, but you don't want to be maybe too early. Because, there's kind of that Goldilocks spot. And, maybe you'll get lucky if you find some cryptocurrency that's maybe on CoinMarketCap, maybe position 800 or something like that, that nobody's ever heard of. And you're like, oh, this is a winner here, and you put money in it, you might strike gold, but it's all risky. It's all speculative. So
kind of like moving to California in 1849, picking a random creek and just digging to see if you're going to find gold. It's really, that random. It could be. Or you could have somebody who actually goes there with a geologist and looks at the topography and tries to figure out where the gold deposits may actually be and digs there.
Right.
Just going to say that might be the plan. And by the way, when we're talking volatility, and I looked this up, Dogecoin went down 21% or almost 25% literally in minutes last night, and continued to go down during the night. It's down 33% now, roughly from its all-time high. It's at 47 cents.
Right.
On the dollar, okay? Bitcoin actually lost a couple points too, but it's at 57,894, just saying. And then Ethereum took off, rising over 11%.
Yeah, Ethereum's been
so
killing
you've
it.
got some going down and this one going up, and it's all happening at the same time. And so, which way you bet last night, you could be sitting really pretty today or not so good.
Yeah, and going back to some of those cycles that I was talking about, interesting thing is when you're in a bull market in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is just killing it, typically what you'll see is once Bitcoin starts cooling off and going through a consolidation phase, the altcoins, these other cryptocurrencies, money will start to trickle in to them from Bitcoin in order to, speculate or to invest in some of these other projects because Bitcoin's getting kind of boring. But then as soon as Bitcoin starts skyrocketing again, going up through its new phase after it's kind of consolidated, then you kind of see some of that money leave the altcoins. But, it's kind of a stair-stepping process. But, it's one thing to consider is, when is alt season? They have a lot of people talking about alt season, and we were definitely in an alt season right now. But, hey, I want people to sleep well at night. I really do. And I always tell people, don't put more money into this space that you got to be willing to part with it. Okay. You got to be willing to lose it. Not because I feel like you're going to lose it. Not because I feel like this space is going to fail. That's not where I come from.
That's the same with any investment. That's the same with any dealing with money.
It is. But I want people to sleep well at night. And the best way that people can sleep well at night is when they're not putting their rent money in cryptocurrency. Like, that's dumb. Okay. And I, again, people don't know what I know. They don't have the time spent in the space. They don't know what they're investing in. And so the more that they get involved in the space, the more they start learning, the more comfortable they get with, the assets that they're investing in, the space in general, the cycles that are involved. And so there's just a lot to learn. And I just say, hey, get off zero. Have some kind of exposure, because Bitcoin, whether you like it or hate it, it's been the best performing asset over the last decade.
Yeah.
Okay. And, people always talk about diversification, right? Well, it to me, it almost seems irresponsible if you're going to diversify to not at least have a little bit of money in something that's performed so well over the last decade and something that's kind of coming to the scene, that's evolving. So,
and man, when you're going to be working with people, once again, go to MatthewJMoore.com. You're going to be able to reach out to him. But if you want to get in there, you don't have to buy $58,000 if that's what Bitcoin is at. You can put $100 in. You could put $20 in. Like I said, my first transaction was on a taxi ride from the airport to Playa del Carmen.
Yeah. No, it's, things like cryptocurrencies are highly divisible. Like Bitcoin, divisible by 8 decimal points. You can buy fractions. Yep. So you don't have to, jump in so deep that you can't swim.
Well, and we will be your life raft as you take the dive into cryptocurrency world. And it is a deep ocean. There are many mysteries to explore, but we'll help you figure it out. Shine a little light on all that. You are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. We are live and local on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. We'll be right back after a quick timeout. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. Appreciate you tuning in this evening. We are live and local in Tulsa, Oklahoma on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. We are exploring the world of cryptocurrencies with entrepreneur and author Matthew J. Moore. Good evening, Matt.
Hello. It's good to be here. I love being here. This is my favorite time of the day.
You guys always show up way early. Like, I can tell you're enthusiastic because you're here at like 4 for a 5 o'clock show. That never happens.
However, you did say we are excited about what we're talking about.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if I do come off pretty excited, guys, I am truly, truly excited. And Eric Cooper is here with me. He is my good friend and co-host. He's talking the world of cryptocurrency with us. Eric, why don't you say hello?
Again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. It is Mother's Day, and my suggestion, buy Mom some Bitcoin, because next year she's going to probably ask you for more, and it's a good deal. But we've got somebody coming on here with us today, and his name is Evan Herman, and Evan is the host of the Whole Person Podcast. If you check it out, thewholepersonpodcast.com. And Evan, are you on with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. How's it going today, Evan?
Man, I'm great. How are you guys?
Rocking it. Like I said, we showed up an hour early, so we're excited to get going. Evan, can you tell us a little bit about the Whole Person Podcast and how you and Matt crossed paths here this past week?
Yeah, so the Whole Person Podcast, it's a podcast about being a whole person in the areas of faith, family, finances, friendship, fitness, and fun. And that was on my podcast a couple weeks ago, where we talked about cryptocurrency and the specific financial aspect of what it means to be a whole person. And so crossed paths with Matt through Young Businessmen of Tulsa years ago. And, he's just preached cryptocurrency for so long. And when I finally took the plunge, he was definitely the person that I hit up to talk to about it more.
Which, by the way, we had a blast getting you into the space, and I'm so happy to hear that even your wife is on board with it, which is also important. So anybody who is married and looking to invest, you might want to tell your spouse about it. Yeah. What do you say about that, Evan?
Oh, 100%. I think that's one reason why we didn't do it sooner. Two reasons. One is because there was skepticism of it, her coming from a banking background, and then the other aspect is just not understanding or knowing what to do. And I think the biggest transition is, I heard of Bitcoin for a long time, and I thought about it for a long time, but I never decided to study it. I never decided to really engage in it. And there's a lot of people that might study before they get involved in something. I'm kind of the guy that's like, okay, I'll get involved in something and then I'll study it because that makes me want to learn.
Hands-on learner.
I had a friend that sent me some XRP for my birthday, and that was the start of it. But then quickly, with talking to you, Matt, we got in it pretty quick, and, I've done fairly well within, it's only been, 5 months?
Right. Well, I mean, it's amazing because you've done so well that even your wife's like, are we going to put more in there? Right? Is that
Right.
the response?
Right. No, it is. And so to backtrack too, the biggest reason why we decided to get into crypto, number one, is because of the inflationary stuff that's happening or getting ready to happen in America.
And already happening.
The dollar. It is. The dollar was taken off the gold standard way back when. I'm sure you've already addressed all this. But I just saw that money wasn't doing anything but losing value. And the other thing too, one of the things I just asked God a long time ago for is when the next big boom happens, let me be aware of it before it really takes off. We had the tech boom, we had, the internet boom, we've had, the industry boom. I don't want to miss a good wealth transfer.
Right.
And with talking to you, Matt, it became very obvious that this will be a very large wealth transfer, as well as with all the other fiat currencies around depleting. And so what ended up happening is we watched the Mike Maloney videos, the Hidden Secrets of Money that you told me to watch, and that really changed our perspective of money.
Well, that's awesome. Well, if you were to tell somebody about, my services, what's your biggest takeaway?
Oh, golly. The biggest takeaway? I think the biggest takeaway that I had, Matt, was not being overconfident. Because you stressed to me time and time again, go slow, don't make transactions, don't do anything. Let me walk you through this.
Yeah, because we had to recover some money.
You walked me through. Yeah, I was just going to say, you walked me through several things, and then I felt confident, and then I went and did something on my own, and then I lost $300 because I sent it in the wrong manner, and you ended up recovering it for me, which was great. But I realized is that if I became overconfident, then I'm more liable to make a mistake. And so now I'm doing everything with caution, as well as, even protecting my seed phrases and all the things associated with that. It's very caution based.
That's so true. And I would advise anybody, if you're looking to get in the space like Evan, go to my website, mattjmoore.com. I'd be happy to help you. But Evan, we're out of time here, but where could people find you for your podcast?
Yeah, we're on Apple, Spotify, all the platforms for podcasting, as well as YouTube. The Whole Person Podcast is where you can find us.
All right, awesome.
All right, you have been listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Thank you, Matt. Excellent job as always, sir. Thank you to Eric Cooper, and of course to our guest, Evan. And thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. Trust me, Yeah, if your head's swimming, well, two things. One, you can find the podcast on krmg.com. And two, we'll be back here next week. I'm Russell Mills. Have a great week. We'll see you then.